Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here. We are back with another episode of the Rumour Mill. We're back here with the morning edition. I've got my coffee. What are you guys drinking? Have you got a wine? Have you got a beer? Are you on the coffee hype with me? That sweet, sweet nectar that keeps me alive, I have to say. I'm doing dry January, everybody, so it's coffee at all times of day to suppress my urges. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. We're having a bit of fun, aren't we? Because we have to have a bit of fun. Because I'm still gutted and annoyed at Leeds United and the situation that's occurred. Obviously with Djed, Spence. But guys, please make sure you're hitting a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're updating you with absolutely everything. We had 4 videos out yesterday, including the Patreon one. So we're absolutely slamming the content out. Please make sure you know, if you want to be a channel member, hit the join button next to one Leeds Fan Channel just underneath the video. And for £2.99 a month, you can become a channel member. Patreon as well is available now for extensive videos and behind the scenes bonus content and all that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. Shout out to everybody who joined overnight. I will make sure you, like Derek, get your comments prioritised. Shout out to you, Derek, for joining the crew. Good evening, Connor. Hiya, Leeds fan. Hope you're all good. Good evening, Connor from Oz. Thanks for all the great content lately, mate. You smashed it. Cheers, pal. This is a good thing, Connor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, Damar, this is kind of where I'm at with it. Looks like Farke doesn't like to be questioned. Always seems to be a joy kill when it comes to Rutter. It's interesting. Like, I'm not fully blaming Farke, but what we found out, essentially, LAFC Fan Zone have put something out this morning on Twitter and said that there was a bust up, which is exactly what we said last night. Djed questioned him, which I am fully on board with. I think it is right when you have an issue with selection to knock on the manager's door and say, why am I not playing? Why am I not playing? Why are you not playing me and you are playing a child at right back who's not been playing well at right back recently? We were all saying this. We've all said it. Everyone on the stream has been saying the exact same thing. Watch-alongs, I've been seeing, the rhetoric that Archie's been struggling in this past month. We can look at certain games. Coventry in particular, I thought he struggled and was potentially at fault for their goal. I think teams have been targeting him from set pieces. I think strikers have been targeting him when they've been playing goal side, when the balls have been coming into the box. And listen, listen, in the games where Djed's played well, he's been taken off before Archie Gray, and then he didn't start ahead of Archie Gray in the game against Birmingham when Djed was fully fit. Now, a few facts that I do know, and listen, you guys know that I know a couple of people behind the scenes, thankfully, because I've been in the journalism world. I come on here and give my opinion, not from a journalistic point of view, because that is normally my career, but from a fan perspective. So it's a separate world, so I will still contact journalists, as I did the other day with the Somerville news and all this sort of stuff. So the loan fee behind it was 1.25 million. So Leeds paid 1.25 million. They just got him back from injury after 8 weeks out. Then they've been playing him left back because they'd faltered in getting the left back. And then they play him right back for one game. So overall, I think it's a monument chronological order of Djed Spence's short career at Leeds United. So for me, if you guys have ever heard like the podcast of the ex-football players when they go to the manager and knock on the door and say, look, why am I not playing? And then the manager would react in a certain way. And this is all me just assuming, but everyone's assuming. Everyone's assuming he's got a bad attitude. I don't know why, but people are, because he's had a fallout with Daniel Farke. For me, I see that as a player who rates his own ability. I see that as something that Leeds United have missed for a long time. Players who rate themselves, and say, look, I'm coming back. Look, the social media post that he put out after he'd had a really good game. I can't remember who it was against. It might have been Preston, or it was maybe a game beforehand, where he just put 70%. And that was Djed saying to us, it's him saying, look, I'm nearly there. And the attitude thing, this is what I'm really struggling with, because he'd celebrate every time Leeds would be scoring. He'd be the first over. And if you could look at some of the hallmarks of an attitude problem, you'd say, oh, he's not arsed. He's staying beyond the halfway line. He knows he's going back to Spurs. He's not really bothered about Leeds. But he'd be celebrating with Somerville. He'd be celebrating with Willie GNONTO. There was a goal at Ellen Road not long ago, and I remember Djed sprinted the entire length of the pitch to hug Crescencio Somerville and do a little dance with him. I just don't get this whole. It's people assuming, in my opinion, and I know I'm making assumptions because we don't know the facts right yet. But the reason we have to make assumptions is because, in my opinion, Daniel Farke is going to come out at 1:30, turn round, and essentially say it was tactical reasons. Djed wasn't happy with this, that, and the other. I don't think we're going to get that much. What we need to see is replacements. Now, for me, in terms of quality, there is nobody like Djed Spence. Excuse me. There's nobody like Djed Spence. Now, as a collective fan base, we've seen him at left back. Seeing him at right back for a long period would have been so interesting. Would have been really, really interesting. I'm just going to shout out some members. Shout out Avo, who's just joined the group. Hello, mate. Hope you're all good. Thank you. Yeah, and that's where I'm a little bit like attitude shatitude with the same amount of fans. Pellegrino, this is another thing I just don't understand. I don't get it. And listen, I'm not coming on here to bat for Djed. In a sense, I probably am in a strange sort of way, so it's quite contradictory. But I think when you take all these things into consideration, the loan fee, the fact we've never got a left back, the fact Djed was playing left back when he was 100%, will have 100% be promised right back by Spurs and Leeds in the loan agreement. And then he's probably knocked on the manager's door, as we've figured out from LUFC Fan Zone this morning, probably, and said, look, I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy that you benched me for the Birmingham game when Archie Gray's been out of form. What is wrong with that? If I'm a footballer, so maybe I've got a bad attitude. Because if I'm celebrating with my teammates, if I'm also turning around to Mr. Big Bad Boss Daniel Farke, knocking on his door and saying, right, fella, listen, I'm a right back who's won promotion in this division. I've got team of the year. I'm a quality player within this division. I rate myself. I know I can do a good job for you. You had the sign off for me in the summer to come in and be with this group. I'm back to full fitness. I've played one game at right back. Why are you not starting me right back? Obviously in a more respectful way, but why are you not starting me right back when the 17-year-old fullback who needs, centre midfielder, I should say, who needs a rest and hasn't been doing well this past month, if we're honest, because everybody's been saying it, he's still starting ahead of me. I don't understand, Gaffer. What's all that about? So, Djed, in my opinion, he was fully within his rights to do so. So, listen, that is, look, you guys come on this channel for my opinion, and that is my opinion on the whole matter. Going to the manager's office to ask why you're not playing is an attitude, a good attitude. It can be that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's more to it. Well, Jord will never know, because Farke, as we know from his time at Norwich and as for his time at Leeds United, will never. And I understand it, but he's never going to come out and say, "Look, that's me. I sent him back. That was on me." You know. But you'd always felt with Bielsa, he'd almost come out and just say, if a lone player went back or he didn't fancy someone, he'd just be like, "They weren't part of my plans." Like, that's it. But with Farke, you almost... I don't know with Farke. I mean, if we've all been moaning, including me, about the rotation and him trusting his subs. He doesn't trust his subs, right? So one of the subs has come out and said, well, Gaffer, what's all this about? You know, what's all this about? Like, I should be playing here. Gruev could have an issue with him, because Gruev never plays, and guaranteed he was probably promised a few more minutes than what he's getting at this moment in time. GNONTO is getting on for 5-10 minutes for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Then he'll get on for 40 minutes another week. So there's obviously, you know, GNONTO went about in the wrong way. Of course he did. But, you know, when you don't trust your substitutes, there's going to be issues there. There's going to be issues. You're not giving any of them game time. So this is what we've all been saying in the comments anyway. He doesn't trust them. So it is what it is. We've got to move on. I do. Obviously, there's more to it. There is more to it, and I know there's a lot of spicy opinions here in the comment section below. Remy says, "Can we get Archie Brown from Ghent?" Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Yeah, and that hopefully will be a significant improvement on what we have at left back, obviously. But the right back scenario is going to be interesting now, because they're going to have to get someone as good as Djed Spence. Djed Spence in full flow, and Nico Williams is someone who I've suggested. You know, I know Connor Roberts was muted as well. I don't mind Connor Roberts. I don't think that'd be a bad addition. Do I think he's as good as Djed Spence in full flow? No. Nico Williams replicates very much similar attributes to what we would see with Djed Spence. So I get that one, and that's sort of one that I suggested. But I think, you know, Montiel is going to be used with rotation with someone like Nico Williams. So that'll be fast. That would be fascinating to see. But Nico would be a Premier League option for Leeds to go and get. He'd be a long-term option. I really, really like him. I think he's a good player. But once again, you're still getting Leeds fans. This is where we've got to contextualise everybody. We're still getting people in the comment section below, which is fair enough. If you don't think Nico Williams is a good addition or would be a good addition, fair enough. But when you're getting Leeds fans saying he's SHIT, he's not good enough, what are we looking at here? So Djed Spence isn't good enough. Nico Williams isn't good enough. Let's look at where we are. And I wouldn't be reacting like this if Leeds were in the top 2. I wouldn't care. But we're not in the top 2, and we've just let one of the quality players go within this roster. So we need to replace that with the same quality, if not greater quality. And it's going to be interesting. A penny for the 49ers thoughts with that loan fee. Obviously with the injury that happened with Djed, which, you know, no one can control, even Djed. And a potential bust up between him and Daniel Farke. It'll be interesting to see where the 49ers are at with this mentally. They might just be turning around and saying, look, we back the manager, of course, get rid of him. And Leeds, as a collective, have terminated his contract. But that has clearly been initiated by a bust up behind the scenes. So, yeah, be fascinating to see. Really will be fascinating to see how the how this turns. Ronnie says, Amanda, there is a little tab next to the subscribe button. I had to do it on my laptop as it hadn't shown up yet. That's just the Joy membership, guys, which is really cheap, and it just means that you're a member of the channel. Mark says, but this is what I mean, Mark. So Connor Roberts, another one who's got promoted, who has a really good CV. We've got Connor Roberts, Nico Williams, Djed Spence, and this isn't generalising here, but to some fans, they're not good enough. And I'm mind blown. I'm mind blown. Like, so who we look at, is it old Bill Luke Ayling? Who's the boy then? Bill Luke Ayling and Archie Gray. Is that what we're looking at right now? Let's roll some suggestions in the comment section below, because I'm fascinated to hear what you guys think. I'd love Nico Williams. I don't think Connor Roberts is a bad shout. I think those two will probably be the top 1-2 for me. But to say they're not good enough, he's probably following the same Djed Spence mark. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they both came in and started playing left back again. It'd be quite nice to see if Daniel Farke would, and the club would actually play him in the correct position. That'd be lovely. Who would you want to join us and sit on the bench? Obviously, Farke favours Gray in that position. But Ash, it's not good. Are we getting promoted with Archie Gray at right back? Realistically, he's not been good in the last month. There's 2 games that I'd look at in the last month where I'd say he struggled big time. I think there's an argument that he's been targeted a little bit by clubs. I think we saw that evidently with Preston. I also saw Preston play Sunderland a week later, and Try Hume, who is Sunderland's right back, who was excellent against us, and Sunderland bought him from the Northern Irish League for a really cheap price. Try Hume defended against him one-on-one. Miller was trying to isolate him. Try Hume absolutely negated everything Miller threw at him. Fantastic 1v1 defending. Try Hume wasn't asking the winger to double up, wasn't doing that. It was Try Hume versus Miller, and Try Hume got the better of him every single time. Now, this is just one exchange, but you're going to get 1v1 exchanges in the Championship. You know, you're going to get teams targeting the weaker points. So when you are doing that, you have to have a really, really top right back to be able to deal with these 1v1 situations. You have to have a right back who's good, fully fledged going forward as well. You have to have these attributes in your arsenal. So if you're not a good 1v1 defender, which I don't think Archie is, we've seen that with Jack Clark, we've seen that with Miller. Mavrididi, I thought it was 50-50, but they were going down Fatawu's side a lot of the time. Leicester, they weren't exposing 1v1 Mavrididi versus Archie Gray a lot of the time, in my opinion, which I think Leicester missed out on. If you are looking at him and saying he's a good 1v1 defender, I personally think you're completely wrong. And I think you have to be a good right back, a good 1v1 defender when you're right back, obviously, when you're coming up against the best positions in the league, which are wingers. So that's my perspective on it. I understand why people think Gray's doing a good job. I also think Gray's done a really stellar job there, as I think Byram's done a good job at left back. Are they the long-term options going forward? No. Will they get us promoted? In my opinion, having weaker fullbacks in that region, in let's say a Byram and a Firpo and a Gray and a Gray and an Ayling? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I personally don't think that gets us promoted. You've got to replace and go out and get pure quality. Yeah, Joe, that's it, mate. Go get Trent. Guys, please make sure that you're liking the video as well. You're liking the video and subscribing. Lewis says that is cap. Archie played brilliant against Leicester. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying Leicester didn't expose him to 1v1 battles. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. 1v1 battles. If they exploited Mavididi against Archie for more of that game, a lot of it was focused on Fatawu versus Byram. I think if they focused a lot of it on Mavididi versus Archie Gray in 1v1 battles, I think Mavididi would have got the better of him, as we've seen with Jack Clark and Miller when you've got agile wingers going at Archie Gray. This isn't to have a go at Archie Gray. I love Archie Gray. I've come on here and people have told me to calm down about Archie Gray. I adore him, but I want him part of a competing midfield. That's what I want him part of. I think we're suffering a little bit with Glenn Kamara in the number 8 getting forward sort of thing. I think his assists and his shooting from distance is poor. I don't think that's a really good play, a good part of his artillery. I think he is a silky smooth operator, similar to Adam Forshaw, retains possession, really good on the ball, will recycle possession, but I don't think he's good in an attacking sense. Archie Gray, in my opinion, would be good in an attacking sense. So I'd love to see Archie and Glenn Kamara rotate a little bit. That's where I see Archie. I'm not saying Archie's a bad player, but he's not a frigging right back. Can we get this in our head? And the notion that Luke Ayling's will be fine now. We've got Luke Ayling back. Hold on a minute. Luke Ayling was being given the red carpet treatment to go to Middlesbrough a week ago. Everybody was saying, well, he's done now anyway. It's a good level. It's a great move for him. And now the revisionism, get him back in. We'll be fine with Gray and Ayling. What? Surely not. Surely we're not. That's not a logical way of thinking. I don't know. Shout out to Ethan. Thanks, my friend. Daniel says, hey, Connor, please go back to Wilco promotion season and see what players he used to get us promoted. Well, I'll do that, Daniel. I'll do that after the video, mate. I'll do it a little bit before my time, but I've got a sort of, brief understanding of that team. But yeah, listen, it's the same with Marcelo Bielsa. But Howard Wilkinson, Marcelo Bielsa, and Daniel Farke are very different managers. Very different. So, yeah. Tim says, Connor, not an Archie fan. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discussion as well today about Willie Gnonto. There's several Italian sources reporting that apparently Everton and Leeds United are coming to. They've been talking for weeks, and Willie Gnonto and Leeds United may come to some sort of an agreement. He's still their number one target. I don't know how Everton are going to facilitate that, but if it's a loan and then potentially an obligation to buy, that'd be interesting. I've mentioned numerous times on the channel that I think Leeds will come to some sort of agreement with Willie Gnonto and whoever, obviously the club that he's going to. Once again, Willie Gnonto would be well in his rights. And once again, a lot of people think this is attitude. It ain't. I've played at academy level when it comes to football. And listen, me and Dave Brown have had many conversations about this off air. If you're not playing and you're knocking on the manager's door and saying, look, play me or I'm off, that in obviously more passive, less aggressive terms, there's nothing wrong with that. That is not attitude. And unfortunately, we'll never get Djed Spence is obviously his side of the tail. We're going to get Farke, so we're going to get that one side, and everybody after this press conference is going to be hating on Djed Spence. It's so obvious how this is going to go. However, when it comes to Willie Gnonto, he's another one who he went about it the complete wrong way in the summer in saying, I'm not playing. Sell me or I'm kicking my heels in and going. That's an absolute horrendous way of going about it. But Willie Gnonto knocking on the manager's door and saying, look, Gaffer, I think I'm good enough here. I think I'm better than Dan James. I know he's been in form, but just give me a go and I could be in form. Or with the greatest of respect, you're playing me 5-10 minutes per game. I'm in the Italian national side. I'm going to be playing in the World Cup. I need to be playing at the top level, and you don't really know what you've got with me. And yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd be doing the exact same thing. So maybe I've got attitude. Maybe everyone who do that has also got attitude. Who knows? Shout out to Amanda, just part of the group. Thank you so much, Amanda. I know you were struggling to find it there. Rajiv as well. Hey, Rajiv, big fan of the channel. Hey, you guys. Kai Wagner. There's a lot. Yeah. Isn't Kai Wagner a free agent now? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the stat. Yeah, MW. Cheers, mate. Yeah. Well, Andy, we've got to guess. This is what part of the. Why are you here? The press conference is at 1:30, my friend. You know this. But you're here to listen to what I have to say. So why are you here, my friend? We're all speculating now. People who say there's attitude problems are speculating. People like me who are talking about it being Daniel Farke who's sort of initiated the bust up. I'm reporting what LUFC Fan Zone have suggested this morning. This is the rumour mill, my friend. That is what you call a rumour. We speak on hypotheticals on this channel. We don't speak on fact a lot of the time because we are basing things on what people are suggesting in the media. That's what the rumour mill is all about. I don't know any Leeds fan who thinks Ayling's the answer. Lee, go online, go on Twitter and type in Luke Ayling, hashtag LUFC. It blowed my mind last night. Blew my mind. Tim Egan says, Connor does love that. Shout out to you, Lee, part of the group. Thank you so much, my friend. Connor burst the agenda. It's going on. That's it, mate. Come on. All of you want it. Let's go. No, listen. Naturally, when you passionately give an opinion and you passionately give your point of view, people are going to say, you don't like other people. Connor doesn't like it when he's criticised or anything like that. That's not, I flag up the con, heg 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 up the con. Hello everyone. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Just give me a thumbs up and we're going to go back to the mic. We're on the MacBook Air now. I don't know why that happens. It does, and I need to sort that out. Anyone got any suggestions for why the mic loops? Let me know. Has it stopped? Better, right. Horrific, says Robert. Right, hold on. We're going to go back now. We're going to go back. Con, heg up the 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 con. What is going on? What is going on? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. It's this thing. Listen, this thing cost me a lot of money, and I don't know why it is decided to loop. So we'll go MacBook Air. The tune, says Marco. Let me know, everybody, where that stopped, and I apologise for that. Goodness me. Oh, God. Oh, apologies for that. Derek Delboy. Derek, let me know. We've got some members coming in. Shout out Lee. I've said this as well. Up the content again. Up the con. Gut the con. Cheap is better. That's it. Refund time. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Gabe was saying it was happening apparently the other day when I was on the pod. So apologies for that. Up the content. That's it. So yeah, guys, we'll leave it there. Let me know what you think about Djed Spence. Let me know what you think about Willie GNONTO. We'll be back this evening with your later on Rumour Mill. We'll be speaking about Daniel Farke. We'll be speaking about Djed Spence once again when we figure out what this guy's going to say about Djed leaving the club. Let me know what you think about Nico Williams. Let me know what you think about Connor Roberts. Are they good enough for Leeds United? Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to get this in the absolute bin. Please make sure that you are subscribing to the One Leeds Fan Channel. We're near 30k. We're 100 subscribers away from 30,000. Everybody, we'll do some sort of giveaway as well. We'll give away a Leeds shirt or whatever, and I'll post it out to you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you check out the Patreon. Make sure you become a member of the channel. If you don't want to become a member of the Patreon, it's too much hassle for you. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Apologise for this little effort, and I will see you in a bit.